Good evening, everyone. This is a very unexpected live stream. Wasn't expecting to do this tonight. As you can see, I've got a bit of a different background going on here, which no expense spared, as you can see. First things first, I think it's becoming very clear that Keir Starmer is far worse than we could ever imagine. The Labour Party are far worse. They've betrayed just about every section of the British public, whether it's fishermen, farmers. As someone said to me today, they're betraying the 4 Fs: fishermen, farmers, flag, forces. It looks like they're going to try and ramrod us into this new defence agreement, which is basically what they're pushing for, as everyone knows, is an EU army under the control of the EU. Now, of course, they're all going to deny that. They've given away our fisheries for another 12 years. And let's not kid ourselves. There's a massive reason that Starmer is really bit by bit pushing for free movement. So the question is, again, and I keep asking this question: how do we get ourselves out of this mess? What do we do? And you know my opinion on it. I've changed dramatically. When I first started doing this in 2017, it was a street movement with Veterans Against Terrorism. We thought by doing street movement, getting veterans on the ground, getting football lads on the ground, that we could lobby Parliament, lobby MPs, and they'd listen to us. Of course, they didn't listen. They didn't pay a blind bit of notice. In fact, one of the first demos I did on my own without the veterans was the UK Freedom Movement demo in, I think it was June 2018. And we had a great crowd. But the whole point was we were pushing for Brexit and that was a Conservative government. What we've got to understand is that the traitors are not just Keir Starmer. The Conservative Party, not all of the Conservative Party by any means, but a massive rump of the Conservative Party were maniacs. And this is still the divide. It's still the divide between patriots that believe in national sovereignty, that believe in self-determination, that believe that we should be a free country, and traitors like Keir Starmer, who says he's far happier at Davos than he is in Parliament. And he's proving that by selling out the country. And, you wonder, which we're talking about obviously having some sort of an election in 4 years' time, but we wonder what's going to be left by then. And this is why I go back to, and I'm going to do a video on this about Nigel Farage later on in the week. And the question I'm going to ask is a very, very simple and straightforward question when it comes to Nigel Farage. Is Nigel Farage the most dangerous man in the country? At the minute, it looks like Keir Starmer is the most dangerous man in the country. Locking people up, inciting the judicial system to lock people up for trivial offences, lying about the murder, the brutal, savage, dastardly, terrorist murder of those 3 little angels. And now we'll look at what he's done. He's betrayed the farmers. He's annoyed the farmers. He's betrayed the pensioners. He's betrayed the forces. Look at this. There's the special forces guys getting dragged through the courts for stuff that happened in Northern Ireland 30 years ago. Absolutely disgusting. And of course, the other arm of the left-wing propaganda machine, Panorama, going after SAS guys that were fighting in Afghanistan, making all sorts of allegations. Again, very similar to what they always do. There's no evidence about this, but they're still going after the soldiers that fought in those faraway battles, Afghanistan, Iraq, and of course the one close at home, which is very close to my heart, Northern Ireland. And then we see him going to literally kiss the backside of Ursula von der Leyen. Well, maybe he's not literally, because we don't know if he's that way inclined, but he's going there, cap in hand, begging to be as close to his beloved European Union as he can. A failing institution that is going to fall apart, an institution that's probably going to drag itself into a war. Well, who knows? But this is what we're up against. We're dealing with traitors at the highest level in our government. And of course, these are the same traitors that's opened the floodgates of mass migration. There's tens of thousands of people in this country that shouldn't be here, probably millions of people in this country that shouldn't be here, that are here illegally. And we also know that many of the people that have come into this country are coming from countries that have had that have a massive problem with jihadists, with Islamists. And we don't know how many people like that are in our country either, because nobody's keeping records, nobody's keeping receipts. And passports under this government have been given out like confetti. And what you'll notice over the next few years is they'll probably thin out the hotels. So you might be able to get a cheap room in a hotel in Bognor or Bangor or wherever it is that they're stacking these people. But you'll notice that the price of rental housing will go through the roof. Again, pushing out the British working class, pushing out the indigenous British working class, but also pushing out the immigrant population, the people that came here in the 60s and 70s. They're going to be penalised as well. Basically, the British working class of whatever racial background are being penalised because of the Conservative Party and now the Labour Party's insane immigration policies. So what do? Well, I think we keep going back to it. And I'm gonna call some people out tonight. First of all, I'm going to call Nigel Farage out for his elitism, for his arrogance. What needs to happen is people on the right need to come together and they need to get their acts together. I'm going to call Rupert Lowe out and Ben Habib. They need to get their act together. If they're going to start a new party, put your money where your mouth is. Do it or don't do it. There's other things I'm not happy with, but I'm not going to go into them tonight. But what needs to happen is there needs to be a mass coming together on a political level. We've done it with Uniting the Kingdom. We've had people together from so many different backgrounds. We've brought people together. We brought people together in one place, hundreds of thousands of people. And in September is going to be even more. So my question is to these politicians and these people who are the power brokers, are you going to do something? Because we know that reform in its current form is not fit for purpose. But we also know there's some very, very good people in reform. We also know there's some very good, able people in the Conservative Party. There's Ben Habib, there's UKIP, there's the SDP. All of these groups, parties, individuals need to get together, sit down and have a chat and have a conversation, because our country needs it doesn't just need a new government in 2029. It needs a political revolution, because the judiciary needs to change. The Quangos need to go. The BBC needs to be either gutted or disbanded. There needs to be mass change in all the institutions. The policing needs sorted out. The military needs sorted out. The media needs sorted out. The universities, the schools need sorted out. We are in the battle of our lives, and it will not cut it just to give Nigel Farage the keys to Downing Street. Look at what Starmer's doing, and this is in his first term. If he, by default, by the right being divided, gets a second term, this country will not forgive the politicians that have allowed that to happen, because that will be the end of the United Kingdom as we know it. And then, then all bets are off. But like I say, my thinking on this now, like we've said before, politics is downstream of culture. So culture is higher than politics. Politics is informed by the culture, but the culture is informed by religion, and the religion of this country is Christian. And I'm not saying everybody has to become Christians. I know that's not the way things go. I know that's not the way things work. But I think everybody needs to have a respect and a reverence for the faith that made our civilizations. And I'm talking about America. I'm talking about Europe. I'm talking about the United Kingdom. We were literally born out of the cross of Christ as a civilization, and people have got to realize that, and they've got to acknowledge that. And again, I got myself into trouble at the weekend. A lot of people got upset because I said atheism was part of the problem. Well, I maintain that. I'm doubling down on that. Atheism is part of the problem, because that's where communism comes from. That's where fascism comes from. That's where all the woke nonsense comes from. And that's not an insult to atheists. In the same way, when I attack Islamism, I'm not insulting Muslims, but I am saying that there's a big problem with both. And I think that's a very, very fair thing to say. And I think it's a very legitimate thing to say. I'm going to ask you to do something. If everybody that's watching, guys, sorry, I'm not really paying attention to the comments, so I'm going to read a few of them now. So I do apologize for that. And thanks everybody for watching. And do me a favor, if you could, just like and share. And also, what I really want is to build up the other channel that I've got going, which is Counter Media. I'm really going to try and do something special with that. I want it to be something really positive. I want it to be something that's going to make a big difference. So I'm just going to go through the comments here, see what we've got and see what way this direction's going. But again, I think we've got to understand what's happening with Keir Starmer. This is another major betrayal. And we've got to understand that this political system needs completely gutted, not literally, but politically burned to the ground and then rebuilt, because it's not fit for purpose. Everything has to go. Everything has to change. And to do that, you need a massive majority and you need a really, really good offering to the British people. And then you need some very able people that are going to be able to come in and change things for the country and change things for the better. Let's have a look at what's going on here. Okay. Let's not forget Keir Starmer. Let's forget Keir Starmer is a Eurofighter. Yeah, absolutely 100% correct. Absolutely 100% correct. Stock up, group up, resist, Putin, revolt and rebel. Well, I mean, look, it doesn't do any harm to stock up, but the rest of the stuff, we've got to be very careful because one, I don't want to lose my channels, and the other thing is I don't want anybody that's putting comments like that on my channel to get arrested by the old bill, because that's what they're doing at the minute, isn't it? Locking people up for stupid stuff. We aren't voting our way out of this. It's rigged. Well, to me, maybe I'm an old fool. Maybe I'm an old fool, but I still believe that that democracy is the way to go. And if I'm wrong on that, I'll be proved wrong. Like I say, guys, I'm going to put the Counter Media channel in here because I really want everyone to subscribe to Counter Media. I was stupid. I actually haven't put this on the Counter Media YouTube as a stream, which I should have done. So I apologize for that. But I'll just drop it in the comments here just now so you can see it. And it's Counter Media. It's YouTube. Counter Media is the domain of it. Let me just find it. And again, look, I mean, what time is it now? It's 10:30, and 10:30, and people are still piling in and watching streams. I mean, we've got nearly 400 people watching the stream. So do you know what that shows me, guys? Everybody watching, that shows me there's a hunger for what we're doing. And by the way, let me know what you think of my background, and you know, I need to do a lot more with it, but it's a lot better than it was before, because before it was just looking, all you saw was wires and books and what else have I got there? Printer and all sorts of stuff. So let me know if you like the background a bit better than it was last time. I know it's a trivial thing, but little amuses the innocent. Okay, what we got here? Bess, yes, 100%. They're traitors without doubt. Yeah, do you know what? I need to learn how to do a poll in the comments. I don't know how that actually happens. So what we'll have to do, I'll have to learn a little bit more about how to do that on YouTube, and we can maybe do some polling and see exactly what's happening. It's a disgrace. Everybody knew it was coming, and it's here. We never got Brexit. And that's absolutely right. We didn't get Brexit anyway. So the Tories were, you know, Boris was such a letdown. Farage let us down as well with, was it the Brexit Party in 2019? You know, they've all let us down. And, you know, to me, it's all right, Rupert Lowe and Ben talking a good fight. They need to put the money where their mouths are. If they're going to start a party, get it done. Start a party, and we'll see if we can get a whole lot of other parties joining together with it and get a bit of traction, because reform's not the answer. Reform's definitely not the answer. Just living the wartime dream lifestyle, frugal. Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what? You're absolutely right, Lydia. That's exactly the way to do it. That's exactly the way to do it. 4 years is too long. Even the reform. I look, totally agree with you. I totally agree. Reform are not strong enough. We need something new. And, you know, obviously there's, I'm taking it you're a Christian. I mean, the reality is what we need, to me, is a mass turning back to Christianity. You know my position on that. And the other thing is, I keep going back to it. And I mean, the pledge has had a lot of completely unjustified attacks on it by, all I can say is there must be sinister actors. If you're attacking the pledge, you're either a lefty, a far righty, or an idiot. It's one of those three. So take your pick, because the pledge is a mechanism to call the politicians to account. But we need a lot more people signing up, and we don't need idiots running around attacking it. Somebody asked me in the comments the other day when I was doing live why we haven't been emailing people. To be honest with you, there's two reasons. One is time, because there's a very small team. There's only 4 of us actually run the pledge. The data is held securely, so we don't want to be sort of spamming people. But the other thing is, it's literally just time. It takes a lot of time to create and generate good quality emails, and we don't want to send stuff out that's trite or isn't important. We've sent a few out, so if you've signed up to the pledge and you haven't got an email, let me know, because obviously we want to make sure the emails are actually all getting through. But we're going to send one out shortly. But again, all of us have been really, really busy. But the pledge is mega important. I mean, when the pledge will come into its own, and when we'll be emailing people, is coming to the election, because it's the pledge is for this next general election. And obviously, if it works for this general election, we'll keep it going. And then when I say this general election, the one at 2029, we'll keep it going, and we'll just use it as a lobbying tool. We'll use it as a lobbying tool to make sure that we can call all the politicians to account. And that's what the pledge is about. Go back and read it. Read all the points in it, because the points are really, really important. That's the whole idea of the pledge, is the content of it, the emailing list, the fact that we know where people are because they've given us their postcodes, which is really important, because when it comes to voting time, we can email MPs and say, will you sign the pledge? If not, why not? If they don't sign the pledge, we'll email everybody in their constituency saying such and such hasn't signed the pledge. And then people can vote accordingly. And it could swing an election. You know, I think we've had, let me get this right, we've had over 60,000 email addresses signed up. Some of them are duplicates, some of them are dead. And I think we've got about 52,000 live emails on the pledge at the minute, which ain't bad, because we haven't really done a lot with it. So yeah, if you haven't signed it, please sign it. And if you have signed it, please share it with your friends, because it's really, really important, because this is the only sort of thing that's going to make a difference. Let's have a look. You can't stop it. Davis has too much power. That's what they want us to think. I mean, look at what's happened with Trump. Trump's got that massive landslide. If Trump can do it, I'm sure we can do it. And that's what we've got to do. We've got to do our best. We've got to keep fighting. I'm not going to stop. You know, we know what they're trying to do. We know they're coming after people. We know they're imprisoning people. The other thing I want to talk about is Tommy. And again, if you're praying, people, if you're in this chat tonight and you're Christians and you believe in the power of prayer, pray for Tommy, because we want to see Tommy out. We want to see him out early. And we want to see this all done away with, this lawfare against Tommy. And we know there's still things hanging over him. But let's get him out. Let's get him back to his family, because what's happened to him is absolutely appalling. It's absolutely appalling. And again, what's happened to the British population? 17.4 million people vote for that. This government, and this is why I'm saying we need to vote. We absolutely need to vote, because that's all we've got, guys. If we haven't got voting, what have we got? Pitchforks? Come on. We've got to vote. We've got, well, when I say we haven't got anything else, we've got God and we've got prayer, but we've got to vote, and we've got to get rid of this vile disgust, because I want to see these people in prison. I want to see people that have caused these problems in our country in prison. By the way, guys, let me know how, if this is streaming okay tonight, because I'm moving my computer about a bit, and I want to make sure that the actual connection is working okay. So let me know if you can see it okay, because it looks like there could be a few problems just with StreamYard. It's telling me it's a bit of a bad connection, but if you can hear it okay and it's not lagging, that'd be good to know. Well, I think again, look, I'm heavily involved in UKIP, but Nick Tenconi cannot solve it on his own. I can't solve it on my own. Tommy can't solve it on his own. Ben can't solve it on his own. Nigel can't solve it on his own. We need a coming together, and it needs to be a very, very broad church coming together, as broad as we can get it on the right. And then when we've got everyone together and we've got people on it, then we might have a chance of doing something great and saving the nation and saving the country. I'm going to go through a few more of these. If I'm missing some of these, guys, I apologize. I'm doing this on my own. There's 500 people in the chat, which is brilliant. Again, please go on to Counter Media. I really want to build that channel up. I mean, I've got about 43,000 subs on this channel, but I want to build the counter media on into something very, very big and very special. And it's going to be about politics. It's going to be about culture. It's going to be about faith. It's going to be about history. It already is, actually. We've got a bit of music on there. I don't know if you've heard the Men of England song on this channel. That's on there. Loads of other stuff going on. We've actually got a song about the pledge on it as well. So there's a lot of good stuff going. Jeff, thanks for that. Well, I mean, do you know what? If you open your mouth, God will fill it. It's as simple as that. You know, God will give you the words. That's what happens, and it's a gift I've got. I'm not very gifted in too many areas, but there's a couple of things I can do. I can speak, and I can make speeches, and I'm not bad at putting words down in paper as well, but that obviously takes a lot longer. But yeah, we need to stay positive, and we need to not let what these animals are doing to us get us down. But we absolutely must get rid of these people at the next election. And again, if people disagree with me, if you're a reform supporter, and let me know in the comments, and let me know why you think reform's okay in the form it's in now. I don't think it is, but if you think I'm wrong, let me know, because that's the whole point of having these conversations, and it's about free speech. The people need to block every port, airport, and shut this country down until general election is called. Yeah, I mean, I hear that, but I mean, as a Democrat and as someone who believes in the democratic process, I'm still wanting to stick with totally legal, lawful processes of getting rid of these people. But I can't make the politicians get together. I can't make Ben Habib and Rupert sit down, and Suella Braverman and Nick Tenconi and William Colston and Nigel Farage. I can't do that. They got to do it. All I can do is give commentary and say, this is what's happening, this is what's going wrong, and hope that people are actually listening. Because I'm getting fed up, to be honest with you. I'm getting fed up with the games. I'm getting fed up with people not doing anything. We need people to be taking action now, right now. Richard, we are suffering the Biden years. You're right. United we stand, divided fall. This is the whole point. And you see, this is the thing about it. The reality is, I have big misgivings, massive misgivings about Farage. But if Farage came to us all tomorrow and said, right, guys, you're right. We all need to get together. We all need to band together. We need to join all these parties up. We need to join all these groups up. We need to get Tommy into the party. We need to get an amalgamation with UKIP, SDP, whatever it is, bringing it, or just working together, bringing everyone together. Then I would say, well done, Nigel. You've done the right thing. So with me, it's not a personal thing. I don't have any personal animus against Nigel Farage. I've just seen the way he's operated in the past. And is he capable of change? He seems to really think he's got his tail in the air, and he's basically, yeah, I hope that's not me that you're talking about. No, I'm sure you're talking about Nigel. Look, or Starmer, maybe. I don't know. Is it Starmer or Nigel you're talking about? I'm not sure. But either way, they're probably not too far. They're probably not too far from the mark on that one. Yes. That happened when the Persian and Byzantine empires fought each other to a standstill. Was it the 6th, 7th century? Tom Holland talks about this in, I think he talks a bit about it in Dominion, but he talks about it in some of his other stuff. And yeah, historically, those two empires fought themselves to a standstill. And the thing that worries me is we could end up in the same situation because of the Russia-Ukraine thing. And I am extremely worried about the rise in groups like the Muslim Brotherhood, Hizb ut-Tahrir, Jamaat-e-Islami, and you could go on and on and on and just name them. I'm extremely worried that Trump sat down with a guy that was head of, or one of the founders of the Al-Nusra Front, which part of it morphed into ISIS. And without a shadow of doubt, even before it became ISIS, Al-Nusra was killing Christians and killing Alawites and killing Shia. We know that. So I'm extremely worried about what's happening geopolitically. I'm extremely worried about what's happening in Ukraine. And there needs to be a proper peace process in all these places. All we're saying is we want peace. And, I hope there is peace. Anyway, Muslims are personal foes. They are one and the same thing. I think you've got to separate believers from their faith, or people that claim the name of those religions, because not everybody is a fundamentalist, crazy nutcase. That's just not the case. But the reality is, I think in the UK, there's about 43,000 people on the watch list, and I think it's about 90% of them are Muslim. So, and that's people who MI5 believe are actually actively involved in terrorism. You got to remember, I think MI5's got about 5,000 people on the books. It's almost impossible for them to surveil everybody at the same time. So we're very vulnerable. The UK is extremely vulnerable. A lot of people are talking about civil war and this, that, and the other. And that's why I keep going back to the fact that the only answer to the problems that this country faces is Christianity. When John Wesley was in the ministry and he was seeing revival in the whole of England and Ireland, I think he went to America as well, and he was everywhere, and he was seeing tens of thousands of people coming to faith, and they believe that in England that stopped civil war. And I think I remember reading that that he was in Newcastle when Bonnie Prince Charlie invaded England, and of course we know that didn't go too well for Bonnie Prince Charlie. But they do reckon that the revivals that took place in England and America certainly stopped a civil war in England, a second civil war in England. But a little bit of trivia for you there, anyway. Past and present communist states are predominantly atheists. Absolutely, 100%. That's true. Allah commands them to sin. Sahih Muslim 2749. That'd be worth looking up. I have a we can get that. We can get the hadith online. Past and present communists. We've had to look at that one. Peaceful protest. Yes. No need for shouting. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, that's what we've been doing. I've been doing a peaceful protest in Northern Ireland every Friday for the past 2 years. I've taken part in every protest I've been peaceful. I've never been violent in any of the protests I've been to or organised. But I think that's absolutely right. I think peaceful protests are a great idea, and that's part of democracy. That's what we've got to do. We've got to use all these methods that we can still use before they take them off us. I mean, I think we're living in very sinister times, and I think I'm reading a book called "Live Not by Lies." Forget the name of the author, but it's very interesting. It's comparing the soft totalitarianism that we've got in the UK and America to the hard totalitarianism they had in communist Russia and the Eastern Bloc states. And a lot of refugees that came, that are now elderly people, that came during things like the uprising. I think it was an uprising in Czechoslovakia in 1968, I think, and there was an uprising in Hungary, I think, in 1956. Both brutally crushed, and of course, a lot of people fled and came to the West. And they're saying it's very similar. The fact that people won't talk about what they believe. If you're a conservative, you won't mention it in work. If you're a conservative, you won't mention it on social media unless you're completely insane, like me. It just takes a special kind of crazy and stupid to do what I do. But it does affect you. I've lost countless amounts of business, lost a job over the head of doing this. You know, there is a cost to doing this, and there shouldn't be a cost. We should have free speech. We should have freedom of assembly. We should have, and we should be able to have a democracy that actually does what the will of the people is, which was Brexit. And now that scumbag Starmer is undermining it. He is a traitor. There's something wrong with that fella. He shouldn't be prime minister. And again, this is where it comes down to voting. If we had enough people registered to vote, and this is why I don't get into this, oh, voting doesn't make a difference. Voting does make a difference if enough people do it. My American friend said when they were doing the Trump thing, you've got to make it too big to rig. And I agree wholeheartedly with that. Why is Tommy not yet out yet? He got rid of the video. Well, that's a very good question. And let's keep our fingers, toes, and every other part of our bodies crossed, because to me, Tommy should be out. and they're playing him, and they need to let him out, because what's been done to Tommy is completely inhuman. And I met him in December, and he was really upbeat, he was really positive. But when he left, I gave him a hug, and I looked into his eyes, and you could just see he was going. What his eyes were saying was, "I'm now going to be on my own again," and it's not right. It's not right what they've done to him. It's not right what they did to Peter Lynch. It's not right what they've done to Lucy Connolly, and we need to support all these people, and we need to do what we can to lobby as much for Lucy Connolly as we do for Tommy and all the other political prisoners. That poor train driver, they got 2 years for saying who is Alan. Yeah. Absolutely unbelievable. Maybe bigger. Maybe have a bigger Union flag. Oh man, yeah, I get it. I mean, that was a labor of love by my wife. That flag. She did that. Yeah, using. Wait, so what regime? If years to come, we find evidence that Stalin was gained financially from all this, we should issue. Well, absolutely. I mean, I think we should have these people on trial for treason anyway, without a shadow of a doubt. Well said, Richard. It's disgusting what's happening. Thanks for that, Richie boy. What else have we got? We had a referendum, just like we have elections. No point voting. I won't waste my energy. Well, Wendy, listen. How are you going to change things then? We've got to try. We've got to try voting one more time. And I get it. I get people being disenfranchised. I get people being upset about it. But we've got to try. And everyone's disappointed. Everyone's disappointed. Okay, right. Let's have a look. Lineker insults God, knows how many Jews worldwide, and no police visit. I agree. Absolutely. Lineker's another one. I'd have him banged up. I mean, no mercy on these rotten people, get them in jail. Richard, I want to know about Tommy Robinson. Well, again, I don't have any news. If I have news, as soon as I get news, I'll let you know. Yeah, as soon as we get news. Let's have a look at this. I guess I signed the pledge as an atheist. It's not religion, it's culture. Yeah, do you know what, Gareth? Listen, I'm not attacking atheists. I have it's freedom of expression. You're an atheist, and you're open about that. I'm a Christian. I'm open about that. I think atheism as a ideology is part of the problem, but I'm not attacking individual atheists, Gareth. And I respect your right to be an atheist. I don't believe you're right. I don't fully believe. Well, I don't believe in atheists, because I think there are people who are agnostics, and they might be very strong agnostics, but you can't be 100% sure that there isn't a God. Whereas I believe, conversely, you can be 100% sure that there is a God, because you've experienced the miraculous in your life, and that's the difference. Christianity is a miraculous religion, and it's not a question of arguing over ideas. Christianity is a faith that is better felt than telt, but you can tell it as well. But yes, so no, I get it, Gareth. And listen, thanks for signing the pledge. And I'm expressing my opinions on atheism. I'm not attacking atheists, because I've got a lot of mates that are atheists, and I respect them. I don't agree with them, and they don't agree with me. But it's my job to tell people what I believe. It's not my job, but it's what I like doing it. Because I'm not very opinionated. I really hide what I believe. You know what I mean? But no, I do. Thanks for your comment, Gareth. And again, totally respect it, man. What do we got here? What have we got? Angelina, thanks so much for that. Brilliant. Look, everybody, try and get signing the pledge, get sharing the pledge. We've got to get the numbers up on that. It's really important. Like I say, we've done this. Basically, 4 of us have run with this. I mean, obviously, it came out a big meeting of probably 10 very prominent people in the patriotic movement. Maya was there, Jeff Taylor, Katie Hopkins, Calvin, loads of people. I mean, there's lots of quite a few people that you might not know. But we had a really great meeting, and obviously we want to push it. We're gonna push it, and we're gonna make it work. But we're doing it literally. It's been self-funded. It's been funded by two people basically, you know, and I'm one of them. So let's have a look at what else we've got. Well, voting will not work. Well, we've got to give it a go, guys. And it doesn't take anything to get out and vote. So not voting is a bit sort of suicidal. Richard, do you know what? I've got an Ethernet cable. Richard, if you need Ethernet cable made up, bro, do you know what? I've got an Ethernet cable. What it is, I'm doing my stuff, Craig, in a remote location. Well, it's not that remote. It's basically a shed on the side of my house, right? And it's connected through. It's probably just it's too long actually, it looks like it's working all right now, but it's probably just too long a reach for the cables. But it's hardwired because Wi-Fi would be even worse. Oh, that's great, Donna. Brilliant. Keep reading the Bible. Keep reading the Bible. Keep reading. You know, the whole point. What I found, and again, this is a personal issue. It's nothing to do with what we're doing here, but I'm just going to talk about this. What I found, I've been through an extremely stressful and difficult time. Much of it of my own making. Hands up. But I've been through a very, very difficult time, and I'll be honest with you. Reading the Bible and praying is what's got me through. Simple as that. Simple as that. CX, I'm not blocking anything. I don't have time to block anything, so I don't know what you're talking about. So, you know, I wish I was that good, mate. Okay, praying all the time for Tommy. Yeah, keep praying for Tommy. Keep praying for Tommy. Okay. Where are we? Farage is part of the problem. Farage is pro-mass immigration. His immigration policy means 600,000. I agree. 100% agree with that. One in, one out. I mean, you know, we're losing good patriots, and we're getting, you know, Abdul and Asif from Pakistan and Iraq. You know, that's what we're doing. We're losing Tarquin and Rupert, and we're getting Abdul and Asif. Losing millionaires, getting penniless peasant farmers. What could possibly go wrong, eh? Okay. Oh yeah. Paul Thorpe. I've been chatting to Paul. I'm going to be doing live stream with Paul very, very soon. It's going to be. Listen, we always kept it lighthearted. We always kept our live streams lighthearted. I'm going to do exactly the same again. It's going to be lighthearted. We're going to have a bit of banter. We're going to talk a little bit of politics. Nothing heavy. We're not going to get into anything that's going to cause anyone any hassle. So yeah, me and Paul's going to be back at it. But whereas I'm going to be going absolutely hardcore on this channel in terms of the politics, I'm going to be slaying dragons, because there's a lot of dragons need to be slain. Okay, what's happening here? Yes, all good. It actually goes good. Thanks for that, Show Up. This guy, I want to tell you something. I keep talking about Show Up. He is an absolute gentleman. He is a total patriot. He loves this country, and he's been treated dreadfully at the minute. I'm going to get him on a live again soon, because I've just been mad busy with other stuff. But I'm going to get him alive because he's got a lot to talk about the way the state's been treating him. Give Shohab your support. And Shohab is a Muslim, and he's an immigrant, right? But listen, I'd rather have 100 Shohabs than 10 of those, or 10,000 of those scumbag lefties that are wrapping themselves in a flag that is not of our country and supporting the dreadful, vile, disgusting Muslim Brotherhood offshoot that carried out a horrendous and heinous massacre in 2023. That's what we've got. 500,000 people were on the streets of London supporting that group. And, you know, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Those people that are born and bred in Britain should hang their heads in shame. And Shoaib comes here, born in Pakistan, raised in Saudi Arabia, educated, I think, at an American school, very intelligent, very articulate, totally patriotic, really good guy, very compassionate, and he's getting heat from the authorities, whereas people in these groups like the Muslim Brotherhood strut round the place, just waiting to initiate the caliphate. Absolutely, completely out of order. Shoaib, salute you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. You're a legend. Okay. Okay. Missed a whole lot of comments there. Sorry, guys, if I missed comments. I'm 74, never so frightened for my country. We need a leader to fight against this. It must be illegal without a vote. I would have thought so, Lynn. And again, don't be frightened for the country. God's on the throne. We're going to get there. We're going to get through this. But yeah, so let's just keep going. Let's just keep the head down and keep going, because I'm not giving up. You're not giving up. We'll keep going until we get until we get victory. We've just got to keep going. We've got to keep fighting. Well, I kind of said that, and then I should never have backed them for that last election. But there you go. We all make mistakes. You could be doing a great job, but only reform can. Well, this is why we need to come together, Merlin. We need to come together, because I don't think reform are going to do it on their own. Not with what's going on, because there's going to be a lot more coming out about what's been going on and what people have been up to, and that's what worries me. Richard, keep your eye on. No. Paul's a mate of mine. I'm sorry, I'm not going to have that. Listen, guys, I'm going to tell you something, right? Paul Thorpe. I know what Paul did in the background. Most people don't. I know how much he worked. I know how many hours he worked. So you get the connections he had as quickly as he did was absolutely incredible. And he did it just through hard work. So you can take all your conspiracy theories. You can take all your nonsense attacking him. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to know about it. In fact, I'll probably get to the stage where I'm going to be blocking people on my channel that are slagging him off, because I just won't have it. Same as if people are attacking Tommy. Don't come on my channel and attack Tommy. You're not going to get any traction. You're just going to get banned and blocked, because it takes a lot to get someone to stand up, right? So I'm just not gonna. I'm going to delete that comment, okay? Because I just don't like it. I don't like people attacking my friends, and I don't agree with that one either, because he's not. He's not godlike. Oh man. Nigel's ego and lies will never. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%. Okay, Roz, that's great. That's really good to know that streaming is really good. And again, guys, let me know what you think of the background. If you think it's tacky, if you think it's all right, let me know. I just want to know in the comments. Dear Richard, looking at history of England is great, but please remember that the history of England began before the Reformation overcrossed. Oh, look, I can go back to 1066. I can go back to Vikings. I can go back to Alfred the Great. Yeah, I can go back to Roman stuff as well. I've been to Hadrian's Wall. But no, I get that. Listen, I'm not a historian. I don't pretend to be a historian, but we need to really, I'm going to start looking at more history. I mean, you know what? We've all got so much to do and so little time to do it. But I really do want to push that counter media channel, because I think it's got the potential to, because obviously what we've got here on this channel, I've got some absolutely wonderful supporters who have been very kind to me and have kept my spirits up when I've had problems, just by the comments, and people, some of them saying they've come to faith, and people saying they've been encouraged, and people saying that they've been persuaded out of harming themselves because of what me and Paul and Danny were doing on the other channel, what I was doing on this channel. So the impact that these channels have is phenomenal. And I'm going to keep doing this channel, obviously, but with counter media, I want to try and get people that we're not already getting. And if I can do that, then jobs are good. Okay, let's keep going. Remember, most of the public weren't interested in politics, but now we have Sama. They're not. Well, this is Tabitha. That's why we've got to get to the people. I was listening to Tim Poole talking to the guys from Trigonometry earlier on today, and he said in 2020, whenever Trump lost the election, and Tim Poole believes it was a fair and square. I think he believes it was a fair election. I don't know enough about it. I have a comment on it, but what he said was a lot of people that weren't political, they'd never voted before, got involved in politics, and because they were getting influenced by the mainstream media, they voted for Biden. And that's why Biden won, because the mainstream media was still having a massive effect. Whereas this last election, the mainstream media were pretty much ignored. And that's why Trump won. It's oversimplified, but I think there's a lot of truth in that. And the other thing is, obviously, as far as I remember, Twitter, we were all booted off Twitter or shadow banned on Twitter before Elon took it over. So Elon taking over Twitter has made a massive difference. YouTube, well, again, it's a great platform. It does the job really well. But when it comes to censorship, yeah, I'm not going to say any more on that. Okay, Starmer's bloodline goes back before Rome. He not there by chance. Okay, Farage can't be trusted. Come on, Tony, give it a rest, brother. I'm just going to turn that off. Okay, did it? Nick Tanconi keeps going up in my esteem, man. Face up. Yeah, listen, no, absolutely. Nick's a great guy. Nick's a great guy, and you know he's fearless. Rich wants to take on Tommy working for Zion. That's the only issue there. I'm for English nationalism only. Well, listen, see, I'm a Zionist, so you know that's, and so's Tommy. You know, I believe, and when I say Zionist, I mean I believe Israel has a right to exist. I believe it's prophesied in the Bible. I believe that you know God's had His hand on the Jewish people despite what they've done, and you know, so you know God's faithful. You know, so, and the reality is every single one of us has sinned and come short of the glory of God. So none of us are righteous. So yeah, but and I will not have anti-Semitism on my channels. So again, there's a few red lines there, and anti-Semitism is one of them. Okay, let's move on. Farage is too concerned with feathering his nest, just like Starmer is planning to do when he does a Blair. Okay. Nigel has campaigning skills and he's riding high in the polls, unique charisma and personality, and he has humor. Yeah, I agree with all that, but you see, we need a lot more than that. What we need is a party that's going to actually oh guys, sorry about this. Gonna have to dear. Right, okay. Again, sorry. I will not have anti-Semitism on the channel. I'm sorry about that, guys. Just won't have it. UKIP should focus on culture, making UK space for reform. UKIP should focus on culture, making up space for reform. UK to focus on business. We've also got set of law and other party that's well. I mean, I think what we need is we basically need all the parties to come together, and we need some very, very clever, very smart people to get into Parliament and make a change. They are. All nations are being betrayed, and I think the reality is there's good and bad everywhere. But I mean, the truth of the matter is, every single country is being betrayed, and they're being sold out by people like Starmer, by the globalists, by the global elite, and it's a mega battle. I mean, you know, thankfully, it's not a physical battle. In other words, people aren't being killed in their millions like they were by the Nazis and the communists, but there are a lot of people who are losing their jobs, losing their finances, and it's horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous. Islam is a religious and political ideology. That's absolutely correct. I agree with that 100%. Politics will not solve this mess. Well, we've got to give it a try, mate. We've got to give it a try. Don't make yourself our business. I'm here for the people. I live in the UK. I'll fight for them, not you. Don't make yourself our business. I haven't got a clue what that means. Okay. Right. Richard, reconsider about 13th step. There's no one at all as inspiring as yourself. I think, have a think about it. That I can't do, unfortunately. I'd love to be there, but I can't. 60,000 signers could unite it. Yeah, absolutely, Wendy. That's the whole point of it. And again, I'll be honest with you. When it comes to the pledge, we've got a very small team doing it. We've got no money. So, but it is it's a great project. And it, you know, when I get the time, I will be doing more with the pledge 100% and see what we can, see what we can get sorted out. Zia Yusuf, yeah, that's absolutely right. Zia Yusuf gave him a lot of money. Good evening, Richard and Patriots. Well, I hope something big and good happens, Carol. That's all I'm saying. I hope something really good happens because we need to turn things around. We absolutely need to turn things around. But again, I go back to it, and I'm gonna stop looking at the comments because I'm getting distracted for what I'm trying to say. Yeah, what I was saying was obviously Paul Thorpe. I'm going to be back on Paul's channel very soon. I'm going to be doing a lot more of this. I'm going to be doing a lot more YouTube stuff on counter media, short videos, stuff like this. The odd live stream, as and when the time allows me to, because we've got to start communicating with people, and we can probably do far more on social media than we can meeting people face to face, even in meetings or even in demos. We've got to use our resources and our time wisely, because we're only finite beings. We can't be, we're not omnipresent. We can't be everywhere at once. So we've got to keep fighting, keep doing what we're doing. I'm a capitalist. Stop corporate socialism now. Okay. We should have a king that's Christian. Well, that's why we need a complete political revolution. We need to form something that will stop the boats and will deport people. And we know Nick Tinconi will do it, because Nick said he's going to do it. Ben Habib said he's going to do it. Rupert Lowe said he's going to do it. But they need to get together. That's what's frustrating me. Everyone needs to get together. Tommy Robson and the others. Yep, absolutely 100% correct. Richard, inform people Christianity like all this. It's immoral. Well, it's a relation. I mean, it's actually more than that, Richard. Inform Christianity is not a religion like all others. It's a moral way of life. It's not a moral way of life. That's part of it. But the reality is, it's a relationship with the living God through the person of Jesus Christ in the power of the Holy Spirit. When someone believes and they look to the cross and they realize that Christ died for them, and then the Spirit of God breaks into the life and the love of God shed abroad in their hearts, like it says in Romans 5, and they become believers, they become new creatures. And it doesn't mean you stop sinning. Unfortunately, you still have all the weaknesses and frailty of every person, but God will always bring you back, and that's the difference. That if you're a Christian, you're not striving, you're not fighting. God's doing it. God's keeping you. Let's have a look. Do remember the peaceful protests against the Iraq were completely ignored, complete waste of time. Only profit for those and charged of the buckets of donations. Yeah. Right. Alan in Toronto. The world is watching. Reference Tommy. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Cultural Muslims should leave Islam because they are hypocrites, nice people, but bad Muslims and don't know the Quran. If they did, they would leave the ideology. Use SAS skills on Panorama. Very good. Very good. As Locke and others said, we have a right to choose a government as we see fit. When the government has went against its people, it's forfeit its right to rule. We should just form a government. The reality is we've got to try and work through the political process, because that's all we've got at the minute. We don't have anything else. London and Toronto. The world is watching. Reference Tommy. Yeah. Smoky. I can't believe our country has been even 10 years ago. Sure. Thank you for that. Maybe the Catholic Church is a means of uniting. I think all the churches need to work together. Is there a way we can stop paying taxes by putting it in hold until? Don't know. I mean, I think we've got to pay our tax or we go to prison. Unfortunately, that's just the way the country works. You will own nothing and be happy. Yeah, good point, Jenny. Good point. Starmer can do solitary confinement in the terror. Yep, I'm up for that, Terry. Let's get him in there. So the terrorists are free in prison attacking. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, Tommy's in there for his protection. That's what we're up against here. Went down my local town today, and this is a problem. This is a problem, and this is all over the country. This isn't just Bradford, Luton, and Leicester anymore. This is everywhere. Yeah. Yes, John. I know you're an atheist, and if you listen to what I said earlier, I'm not attacking atheists. I'm attacking atheism. Um, if people have a right to believe whatever they want, but for me, I don't believe in atheists. I believe there's agnostics, in other words, people that aren't sure whether there's a God or not. But I don't believe any of them can say for sure that they don't believe, because it's impossible to do, because you've got to have all knowledge of everything to be able to do that. Yeah, but there's a creation for sure. You better believe it. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Gareth. And look, I mean, honestly, John Capone, he knows me and I know him, and it's banter. There's no badness in it, and it's the same with you, Gareth. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't disrespect people because they're atheists. I don't like atheism. I think atheism is a big problem, but it doesn't mean I disrespect atheists by any means. My father was an atheist for many, many years. He's not anymore, because God spoke to him. And my dad is probably one of the most rational people you ever meet in your life. He was super intelligent, more degrees than the thermometer, and God spoke to him, and he was an atheist until he was in his 70s. So there you go. It's never too well. It is too late sometimes for people. Yeah, the pledge.org.uk, Susie. If you go into the pledge.org.uk, you'll have a look at it and you see what it is. Let's have a look. Johnny, thanks for that, mate. Do appreciate that. That's really, really kind of you. Let's have a look. What else we got? British tragedy, spot on. What's British tragedy said? I don't know. Richard, with you being in Northern Ireland, do you have the same prime minister? Yeah, we do. Unfortunately, we've got our own little assembly, but that's run by. Well, we'll not even go there. Boris called the person a gimp today who gave our fishing rights away for 12 years while paying them. Absolutely. Oh yeah, there's another book that I've been reading, and I'll do a bit of a review on it probably in the next few days. It's about Islam. It's by a guy called Tim Dieppe. Absolutely fantastic. It's called The Challenge of Islam. I did vote every time since 1970. No change. I will vote for the pledge party. Yep. I get it, Windy. I get it 100%. Get it 100%. Yep. Okay, that's show how we'll get you on, mate. We'll get a live with you, mate, soon. Well, listen, Tommy's very interested, John. Tommy's very, very interested in Christianity. He believes Christianity is massively a part of how you solve the problem. Is he a Christian? I don't know, but I know he's been reading the Bible. I know he's prayed. I know God's doing a work in his life. He always wants Christian stuff on the events. So, listen, we're all on a journey. We're all on a journey when it comes to faith, and we're all, we all struggle. We all have lots of different things going on. But yeah, I mean, Tommy is a very open-minded man. So let's just hope. Right. Okay. What do we got here? Let's have a look. I love Paul Thorpe. Why should he not? Amanda, absolutely. I mean, this stuff about Paul Thorpe. I mean, there's people attacking Paul Thorpe, right? And why would you do that? Why, if you're interested in this cause, why not actually go and do something yourself instead of attacking somebody? That's my opinion. Paul's got a right to do whatever he is, and Paul can do. I'm sitting in Northern Ireland because that's where I live, and I've lived here since 1987. I came to Northern Ireland when it was a war zone, right? Well, not a war zone, but you know what I mean. It was spicy enough, and I married a girl from here, and I've been here ever since. Came with the army. Now, this is where my home is. This is where my family is. Paul's family, his daughter, is out in Spain, right, and his grandchildren, and he is a free agent. and he's got every right to live wherever he wants, anyone on the planet. He's a very successful businessman, and the fact that he's come and joined the movement was a real boost to our movement. And I can tell you something now. He still has an amazing relationship with Tommy. Him and Tommy are chatting over the email. So, like, why are people digging him out? Just leave the guy alone and just stop obsessing over it. Good luck to Paul and Danny. You know, they've done very well in their lives. They're living in Spain. So what? Does that mean they can't have an opinion on what's happening in Britain? Does that mean because I live in Northern Ireland, I can't have an opinion on what's happening in England? I'm an Englishman, you know, and so I just don't get it, and I would just say, you know, honestly, just leave Paul Thorpe alone. He's a good man. Big man of passion is there with us. We need to. Oh yeah, Alan, Gemma. Yeah, it was great seeing you guys on Saturday. Let's do it all again soon, because I tell you what, that was getting bigger. That crowd was getting bigger, and you know, it's really, I think it's really, really important that we keep the foot on the gas with that one. This was the protest, by the way, just for anyone that wasn't there, because I know there's going to be a lot of people in England watching. We did a protest at Belfast City Hall. It was the third one. Brilliant, great crowd, great atmosphere, really positive. So, you know, if you're in Northern Ireland, the next one, I don't know when it's going to be. Oh yes, there's a March for Jesus on the 7th of June in Belfast. So as well as what's happening in England. So yeah, get that one in your diary. I'll definitely be going to that. Let's have a look. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. I think we'd end up getting them all sacked. Yeah, Paul's a good guy, 100%. You know, he's a good guy. Yep, I totally agree, Edward. Totally agree. Yeah, the problem is I can't get rid of people off the channel as well as you know, doing everything else I'm doing at the same time. So I've just got to there's a couple of people do a bit of modding for me on this. So if the mods are seeing anything that's attacking Paul, you've got my permission to just get rid of them. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to stop doing this. I mean, I've just had to change my for personal reasons. There's nothing, you know, it's not because I'm getting any heat from the state or anything like that. Just personal reasons. I've got to change the way I'm operating, just because, you know, you've got to put your family first. It's as simple as that, and that's what I'm doing. You know, love Tommy, Paul, Danny. Thank you very much, Debbie. That's really, really appreciated. Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Anybody that's slagging them off, I just want them blocked off my channel. You know, I'm not interested in people attacking. Not interested. Thanks very much for that. You see, you know, it looks a lot better than it used to. It looks a lot better than it used to look, didn't it? Sorry, I'm just trying to get that comment up there. P. Wright, thanks very much for that. I do appreciate that. Yeah, you're right, Liam. You're right, 100%. Well, guys, listen, I'm gonna break there, but 7 o'clock tomorrow night, I'm gonna have Ricky Doolan on. Ricky Doolan, Pastor Ricky Doolan. He leads worship in his church, and he's also led a lot of worship at the Tommy events and the Unite the Kingdom events. And he recently met Tommy, so I'm gonna have a good chat with him. He's this is how dedicated he is. He's on holiday with his wife in Rome, and he's taking an hour out at 7 o'clock tomorrow to do a live stream with me. So I don't know how good the connection will be, but we'll find out tomorrow. So 7 o'clock on this channel and on Counter Media. Do me a favor, guys, watch it on Counter Media if you can, and like and share Counter Media, because that will be on Counter Media on this channel, on X as well, and on Ricky's channels. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Thanks for jumping on. It's nearly 11:30, and we've got 600 people on watching this. That's amazing. That is so good. Yep, absolutely. All the people slagging off Paul should stand in his shoes, see how long they last when they come for you. It affects whole families. Be kind to people. Paul's a good man. Totally agree. And look, at the end of the day, if you know, if I was in Paul's position, I'd have done exactly the same thing. Okay, where are we? Love your podcast, Richard. But please look into the camera. Do you know what it is? I'll tell you what the problem is. My camera is up on the top of the screen, right? And to read the comments, I've got to read the comments. So I almost need to have the camera. If I'm doing it on my phone, I always look into the camera because you're just looking at the image. But on this, I'm going to have to look up like that. So that's what I've got to do. So there you go. I'm looking at the camera now. Okay. But even if I'm a bit bleary eyed, it's nearly 11:30. But yeah, that's why I'm not looking at the camera all the time. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I wonder, I'm going to try and do something clever here, right? Because I did a little song about the pledge last week, and I'm going to drop it into the video, just play us out. So let's see if this works. So just bear with me for 2 seconds, guys. Yeah. Okay. Let me just try this, guys. So just be patient with me, because doing all the tech at the same time as doing everything else that I'm trying to do is not easy. But let's see if it works. So there we go. So let's share that, and let's go back to the. All right. Okay, let's see if that does it. Is that going to do it? Okay, that might work. So, guys, let's just give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if this is playing when I press play, okay? Because I'll let you know when I press play. Okay.
The people chose to make the pledge to save a land so fair. The people chose to make the pledge to show how much they care. The pledge is for the people, to give them back their power. The pledge is for our freedom, to break the people in the tower. The pledge will bring us freedom. The pledge will make it right. The pledge will save our children, our joy and our delight. The pledge is for the people, to give them back their power. The pledge is for our freedom, to make the evil cower. Our land, make evil go away. Sign the pledge for freedom and to always have your say. The pledge is for the people, to give them back their power. The pledge is for our freedom, to make the evil cower. The pledge is for the people, to give them back their power. The pledge is for our freedom, to break the people in the tower.
Well, there you go, guys. So that's it. That's us done for tonight. Yeah, let's just excuse me. Let's just crack on. I'm just gonna. Yeah. So listen. Thanks everyone for jumping on there. I wasn't expecting to be on that long. We've done over an hour. Good numbers. Let's get across to that counter media channel. And again, let's just keep going, and let's fight this until we win. See you all soon. Okay. God bless you all. See you later.